shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Shout out to Hoop Jargon. What's up, everybody, man? We come here for the third show on one day, man. I'm giving y'all a triple scoop of entertainment, man. I got a busy life outside of this, whether y'all believe that or not, but I appreciate all of y'all for spending y'all free time kicking it with me. So as I told y'all a week ago on the socials, I got a great interview, follow-up interview, as a matter of fact, with one of my guys, man, and none other than Alvin Brooks III. As y'all know, assistant coach to the world, national, however you want to shake that out, champion Baylor Bears. A guy I've been knowing well over 10 years, man. All the wealth, the bevy of sports knowledge, yada, yada, yada. We can come all into it. And without further ado, let me bring my boy AB in. AB, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing, man. I've learned that working on my days off is what I do, man. And so I'm happy to be here, man. I say that.
That's good. That's good. I guess they say no days off, right?
No days off, man. And when you get older, you understand that at a high clip. I wish I knew this when I was younger. Boy.
I know. I'd have took advantage of them naps, too.
Yeah. Because the naps are crucial now. Like, naps are, like, vital to getting to one section of the day to the next. You know what I mean? When you was younger, you didn't really need them like that. But we taking them. So, yeah, man, for those hiding under a rock, this is Coach Alvin Brooks III from Basketball Royalty. He done a few things, man. AB, for those who not familiar with the brand, man, go tell them a little bit about yourself.
Man, Alvin Brooks III, I'm originally from Houston. I'm assistant men's basketball coach at Baylor University. We were blessed enough to win a national championship this past year. And I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be a part of 3 national championships. So I'm originally from Houston. I'm a coach's son. I have a beautiful wife, Tiffany. I also have 2 lovely boys. I'm 7 years old, AJ, and 5-year-old Austin. And so, man, I love Houston. I try to give back as much as I can. And that's basically me.
And that's real. And and before we go into Baylor situation, I do want to give you a lot of credit for your initiative you started with your Be Ready initiative, man. And so we didn't really talk a lot about that last time we interviewed. And I want you to talk a little bit about that because you really do try to give back into other guys out there trying to get that personal thing on.
Yeah, so Be Ready actually is crazy. I had a T-shirt on today.
All right.
So be ready, be prepared, be legendary. And so it was started during the pandemic. And, a lot of us were, it was basically on shutdown. And so it was, how can we continue to get better? And so as a coach, a lot of young coaches, we don't share with one another. And so I wanted to be a part of something and start something to where we help one another grow in the game because, as an African-American assistant coach, a lot of us are labeled as just recruiters. Mm-hmm. And so I never want to be labeled as just a recruiter. And so I don't want anybody else that I know, no matter what your race is, to be put in a box. And so we teach each other more than just recruiting. I don't think we haven't even talked about recruiting. We try to, the biggest thing now is being a CEO. So we want to teach each other basketball and what it takes to be a CEO of a basketball program.
No, I like that because, as you know, for those who don't understand the vernacular, what Coach AB is alluding to is like a lot of guys, from African-American descent who have an ability to relate to obviously the talent you're bringing in, that you're sought in the grand spectrum as a person who just can go get like-minded individuals, as it were, younger versions of themselves. And so with AB, what I like is that, we have a lot more aptitude past that point. We have aspirations for having our own. And that's what I like about what you was doing with the Be Ready thing, man. Like because again, it was during the pandemic and everything was fresh. Everything was new. it was new protocols all over the place, and you was just having these seminars online with all these guys from Coach Drew on down. And I thought that was just super dope that you were spearheading that campaign, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. It started off some, to be honest, I thought it was going to be a one-time thing, and it just kind of organically turned into a family and something that we continue to do. Actually, we need to get back on it. We've been off for a while because of recruiting, but we'll get back on it next week.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, guys. Like, and we was talking about this before we started, like building as you fly, because what you got to be able to be prepared to do is to pivot. Like when opportunities come, you got to be ready. No pun intended, and understand the gravity of what's going on, and be at the forefront. And then when things change, you recalibrate, and then you reproposition what you're doing. And AB, I don't know if you saw, I got a great opportunity to hang out with LeVar Ball, and that's what
I
he did
seen
with his
that.
company.
Yeah,
Man.
that.
And bro, I don't know, I get from a college coach perspective, I will say that dude believes in himself and his kids 100%. And everything he says, he means it all the way. And I don't know how you feel, but you can't argue with a dude to put 3 NBA kids, through the system. That's all I gotta say. So
I mean, you just gotta respect it. You know what I mean? Like, for him to believe in himself and his family like that, and believe in his brand, the only thing you can do is respect it. I mean, he spoke it over and over and over, and whether everybody want to believe it or not, you still got to put the hard work in. And so I think that's the main thing. I think that's a life lesson for everybody. One day I'm gonna be a head coach. Where, I don't know yet, but my goal is to be a successful head coach. And so
absolutely.
I want to make sure that I'm not just a head coach, but a successful head coach, because just getting there ain't the point. I want to make sure I can impact young men, impact the community as much as possible. And the only way to do that is being successful.
There you go. And that's why I've always gravitated towards you, because again, I know you through Talvin, and your spirit, you emanate, like you're a galvanizer. And I think that's a great attribute to have as a coach, because you got to relate to, obviously, the pupils rather under you. And so
Yeah.
I think that's going to make you a great coach later, just like your father. You come from basketball royalty. Man, let me start with this. How was it to coach against your dad, man, in the NCAA tournament? Let's not skip over this.
Man, it was different. It was definitely different. To the point of, like, I'm used to calling my dad when I have basketball questions. And I actually had a question the night before we played him, and I was not able to call him. So he's a guy that I lean on. Obviously, him, he's been in the game for over 30 years and a lot of success. So I lean on him a lot. But that little week, I wasn't able to lean on him, and so it was a little difficult for me personally, because I normally talk to him every day. And I've seen him more actually in the bubble than I've seen him in, I don't know, years, just because we were in the same hotel. But just being there and talking to him, it was definitely different. Before the game, I put the starters in the book for us. He put the starters in the book for them. Neither one of us knew that, and so it was a great moment.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, AB's father is Alvin Brooks II, coached at University of Houston. So they met in the Final Four, right?
Yep, Final Four.
Yep. So imagine that. Like, what a storyline that, father against son in the Final Four of all places, in 2 Texas teams. You know what I mean? And that's just crazy, all the way through. Because as we know, neither U of H or Baylor are blue bloods, as it were, in basketball. Men's basketball, that is. So it just was a special moment on so many, from a layered standpoint. That was a hell of a storyline, man. I got to say, from sitting back and watching that play out. So as we know, Junior was successful. so how did it feel to beat your dad? I gotta ask the question, man. I'm sorry.
Man, it was a bittersweet moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
I had never won against him. I was at Sam Houston, and he was an assistant at Houston, and we lost both times, close games, one at home and one away. And then we had a scrimmage here for the Hurricane, Houston versus Baylor. And even though it wasn't an official win for him, like in my mind, he still had the upper hand. So I was 0-2 against him officially and 0-3 unofficially. So I was like, man, this may be my last opportunity to get a chance to get a win. So I was excited to finally get a win, but at the end of the day, like my little brother said, at the end of the day, he was gonna stay a whole weekend because one of us was gonna be playing for a national championship come Monday.
And that's important, man. At the end of the day, and again, why I gravitate towards so much what LeVar does with his kids, he is all for his boys. Like everything he's done is for his boys. And so to watch your dad groom you and get you to that situation where you get such a high level coaching, that always resonates with me because you know how it goes in the sports realm. You don't always give credit to the dad. We've seen, Kevin Durant get the credit. Mother, you the real MVP. Zion Williamson get drafted. He has a stepfather who trained him. They only talked about the mother. It's just kind of how it goes in this space. I think we all can understand that. So I do want to accentuate the men that groom prominent men in basketball because that goes on a lot, whether a lot of people know that or not. So now let me say this. Let's get into the minutia of this whole thing. And so last time we talked, man, you talked about how special this group was, and you were sad that COVID hit at the wrong time. And I'm not gonna, AB, I keep it real, man. That's my bread. I definitely knew. I mean, you in the Big 12, Baylor, y'all won the upturn. I didn't know if it was necessarily a national championship product, but I mean, you were foreshadowing how special this group of gentlemen were. And you were saying you were so upset they didn't get a chance to showcase themselves on that next level to go pro. And you were saying that when you told them about what was going on with COVID, you actually cried, in the sense of telling them. And so fast forward another year. I don't know if you disappeared. AB, you still there? Okay. I think AB, his thing, he'll come back in. So in the first interview, y'all go back, it was a year ago, a little bit right after the pandemic hit, AB was saying how special the group was. And again, excuse me, most of us from Texas understand that with Baylor, that's not necessarily a perennial championship program, right? And only to fast forward a year later and they win the national championship. So when AB comes back in, I'm going to ask him how he feels about having that designation of being, a national champion, because he was saying how good these guys are. And I'm going to get to the Davion Mitchell questions because I know that's what y'all want to, that's who y'all want to talk about. Davion Mitchell has been ripping it up. And I feel like I'm foreshadowing a lot, man. Shout out to my boy Flight Sports TV, man. Yeah, man, with these interviews, these are dope, man. And I love these because on my channel, I know some topics go more from a more popular standpoint than others. But I want to give y'all game at the end of the day because I know I played at a high level. I have relationships with a lot of guys who've seen and done a lot in this basketball space. And I want to share this with y'all, because everybody is not privy enough to be able to. I can call AB and ask him about basketball. I can call my boy Talvin, who coaches at Texas Tech. I can call my boy Uric, who coaches at University of Texas, so on and so forth. My former coach, Byron Rim, who coaches at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. My homegirl, Toyelle, who coaches at SMU, formerly at Baylor and formerly at Michigan. So these people, I'm just naming a few off top, who I can ask unapologetically things, and who I would think at least respect my basketball acumen on some level. So I want y'all to be privy to these type of perspectives because it comes from a place of knowledge and applied knowledge on top of all that. So AB, I was just asking, about the group you said was so special last time, and then COVID stepped in and got in and interfered. You mentioned about, how I got a little emotional when you had to break the news about the season. So, man, tell me, fast forward 1 year, did you really feel that special about this group?
First, I told you that was the first time I ever cried in front of a team. And so,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like, for me to cry for the first time, they had to be a special group. And I think the fact that they all came back and we lost three seniors the year before, and the fact that they came back and, you know, everybody was saying it's championship or bust, and for them
Damn.
to actually live up to that, I
Damn.
mean, people don't talk about them. Um, I mean, people forget that we won 23 games in a row the year before and went 94 days without losing a game.
Damn.
And so, you know, people don't talk about that. So it's, you know, if we were sexy enough, you could say that that's two of the best years in college basketball history ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to win 23 games in a row, a Big 12 record, and then to come back the next year and win a national championship and only lose two games. I mean, it's a special group, one of the best ever. I'll be the first to say it.
Hey,
What they
you,
did
you know,
was one of the best ever.
hey, well, one thing Hoop Jargon is not is Hoop Jargon is not humble. So I'm all for the, beat your chest, talk your ish.
Yeah, no, I never thought, you know what I mean? Just thinking about it, you know, like that's hard to do what they did in 2 years, man. Like that's really hard to do, especially, you know, you're gonna be a number one seed that year and COVID stops it. And so then you come back the following year and you're a number one seed again. And then you
Yeah.
back it up with a national championship. That's really, really hard to do.
And to me, that shows consistency. Because, and I alluded to this in another live I had a few streams ago, where I was saying that everybody starts the year off saying, in high school, 1, 2, 3, state bound. Everybody want to go to state. And some people know you ain't got an ice cube chance in hell to go.
Facts.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So for y'all to say championship or bust and mean it, and then do the work and show. At the end of the day, I mean, I gotta be honest, man. Me growing up in Texas, when we talking about who gonna win the national championship out of Texas, is Baylor very low on the depth chart. Can we be
I
honest here?
know. No, I know. I mean, people don't even realize though. We're only the second team from Texas to ever win a national championship. The only one before us was in 1966, and they made a movie about it called Glory Road. And so,
UTEP.
you know, it's UTEP, but right back then, you know, it was Texas Western, you know, and
Yep.
so it's it's not something that's really easy to do. So, to be a part of something like that, you know, that was my goal when I first came back. I was like, man, I want to be a part of the next team from Texas to win it. And you know, we have a movie director that graduated from Baylor. He made The Blind Side, and you know, he told us if we want it, he'll make a movie about us. So now I'm just looking forward to who gonna play my
There it
part.
goes. Who can I see, man? I can see a Don Cheadle face on Long Beach. Nah, I just who would you pick to depict you if you had a
Man,
choice?
I have no idea. I would really want to play myself if I can.
Hey, I hear that.
But no, I have no idea who. I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest.
Fair enough. That's what I do, man. My interviews are just all off the flow, man. And when I interviewed LeVar Ball, it was extemporaneous the whole way. And so, you know what I'm saying? And that's a great reference that Texas, as prominent, as dominant as it's been, they didn't necessarily reach the holy grail, as it were, as the national championship. And I had the pleasure to meet Coach Haskell, rather, when they dropped the Glory Road. It was my junior year in college. It was us, which is Prairie
Wow.
View A&M, Texas A&M, Texas Southern, and it was HBU and one more school there for the premiere of the movie. So it's just crazy how these stories intertwine and what have you, man, and you're a
Wow.
part of history as we're moving forward. Because, again, when I was in junior college, man, we almost got a kid named Ellis Kidd Jr., man, who was at Baylor because y'all had the Patrick Dennehy situation and the program was kind of, defunct or what have you, and he was going to come to my JUCO and play with us. And I just remember seeing how good he was, man. Shout out to Ellis Kidd Jr., whatever you're doing right now.
I was like, man, this dude a pro. Like that dude was really, really good, man. I was like, I ain't seen no dude in real life that good in a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's when y'all had at the time y'all had John Lucas Jr. on the team, and what's my man's
Lawrence
Kenny
Roberts.
Taylor, huh?
Yep, Lawrence Roberts, Kenny Taylor.
Lawrence Roberts, big man, yeah.
Yep.
It's a good team, and then unfortunately, the things happened with that team. So Baylor had talent, and let's fast forward. I remember my junior and senior year playing. We played y'all both years, I believe. Y'all had guys like Dugat. Y'all had guys like Rogers. But y'all had players during the team, and then after that, Perry Jones and all that. So y'all had talent all the time, and y'all pulled from Dallas primarily. I've kind of seen. So it's just great to see where you guys are right now. To be out, I mean, literally national champions, man. That's nothing to shake a stick at. Y'all are national champions, bro. Do you feel like y'all getting the adulation y'all deserve?
Honestly, from the people that I'm close to, obviously the people that that know me, I believe so. I don't, national wise, I'm not sure. I really haven't paid attention to it, but I had a head coach, a Power 5 head coach. I won't mention his name, but I tweeted something, saying, basically saying what you're saying, that I didn't feel like we was getting the respect that we deserve. And he tweeted me, and he was like, he texted me and was like, that's something that you don't need to worry about. He was like, even people treated Jesus bad. That's basically what he said. Like, so if people treated Jesus bad and disrespected Jesus, why would they do anything different to us? So, he kind of that text kind of put me in check a little bit. And so, for me, it's not a matter of, who respect us or not. It's a matter of us, figuring out a way to continue to keep our program at a high level.
Well, you know what, AB, I'll say this, man. I know you at a Christian university, and I do respect the boundaries with that. I'm going to put my hoop Jargon hat on. Yeah, all right. And I would just say a lot with them two words. So that's cool. That's what's up. I respect people's opinions, but this is college basketball, and we know the ramifications of college basketball with guys like, I'll say, MC getting multiple millions of dollars a year. We know this is a multi-billion-dollar entity, so it's not outside of the realm of how can I put it? Common courtesy to want the respect for the toil that you put in from day one to day whatever to hold up a national championship. So, in my opinion, I don't think that's wrong to want the proper respect. Let me say
that. Yeah, no, it's all good. Like I feel like I feed off the disrespect, to be honest. Like,
okay.
Like even to our players, like I always tell them, hey, that's disrespect. Like it's just I feed off of it. Even on the court, I'll be like, man, don't have a disrespectful closeout to a player. Like I think respect is a big deal, and so I'm big on respecting and then not being disrespected.
And those are manly tenets that's going to take you far in life, no matter what you do. And I think those are important. Yeah. That's important. You impart that upon your kids, because what's reality? I say it all the time. The NBA is the 1% of the 1%. 1% of high schoolers go to Division I. 1% from that faction goes to the pro level. So you're going to have to be as confident as you are as a player in another sector of life, basically. So you can't put all your chips on just being an athlete. And if it don't work out, you don't have that same mentality. You got to apply that same mentality to everything else. I say with me, being a salesman. At this point, I'm very successful. It took me a minute to get my thing on, but I had to start thinking like how I thought as a player, like being lightly recruited, being at a point where I had to put I had guys like Florida State, Hawaii on me, but I sent my own stuff out. So I had to humble myself that I'm not this great guy, organically that I think I am. And I had to make myself marketable. So I had to manifest that same thing that made me
when I left Stephen F. Austin and went to Mountain View College, and a guy ahead of me, I had to beat him out. And once I beat him out, I ain't never looked back for 2 years. I had to re-humble myself and use that same mentality when I got a scholarship at Prairie View to beat out guys and then, and then overseas and blah, 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 blah. I had to use the same thing in life. So I like the fact you instill that in those gentlemen because, with young men, everything can be about your sport. But then you got to understand that it's a chance that you're not going to be able to play your sport, outside of this college setting. What are you going to do past that point? You know what I'm saying?
True. I mean, I tell our guys all the time, life is about habits. And so you either have great habits or you have bad habits. And those habits determine your future. And so you have to
Absolutely.
make sure that you have the correct habits. And so, basketball gives us an opportunity to help them build habits that not only make them successful on the court, but off the court. Little things like being on time. Like if you can't be on time to some basketball related, then you can't be on time to class. And if you're not on time to class, that's going to translate to you not being on time to a job. And now life is going to be extremely hard for you. And so we try to teach our guys that, habits is going to determine their future. And one thing we always preach, the great ones have the same boring habits. And so we want to make sure that they have the same boring habits off and on the court to help them be successful.
And again, I love that because in our community, I think that obviously, single parent household is pretty common. So necessarily upstanding habits may not be ingrained in our young men's mindset. It's more or less just things that self-gratify you. And I think it's important that gentlemen like yourself, other guys, in a similar space, impart that upon our young men. So it's like when you don't have this commodity, which is being a high level, ball player, you still got to have these same translatable skills to lead a family later, to be upstanding. And I think that's the biggest point. When I was AB, I used to be a teacher. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't care so much about curriculum. I cared about these young men and women in this classroom got to be somebody's wife, somebody's husband, somebody's father, somebody's mother. So whether they remember the Alamo or not, what can I tell them? Life is going to get real in about 5 years for you. It's going to get real. Can you remember one thing I told you that's going to lead you somewhere else to an upstanding household, man? So I admire guys like yourself who see the game beyond the game. Everybody said game within a game, which is true, but the game beyond the game, which is life, which I view as very important at this level.
True. I mean, it's very true. I agree 100%.
Yeah, so we got some questions coming in. This is a slow burn interview. I appreciate y'all. All right, so Lord KI777 says, how does he feel about Baylor becoming an elite college basketball program? Baylor used to be known for football. That's a great question. So how do you feel about that paradigm switch?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, if you just look in the state of Texas in general, it's considered a football state. And so for us, obviously we love basketball and we're basketball coaches. So our goal is to not only, to keep Baylor a national brand as far as what we can control, with the success that we have. So our goal is to, continue to win and make sure that, our young men carry themselves in the greatest way, and, hopefully continue to have guys achieve their dreams at a professional level and continue to take the brand to a high level. So, of course, our goal is to move forward and take it to a high level. I mean, the only thing we could do is win another national championship and continue for guys to graduate and play professional basketball.
That's dope. And I tell you what, man, if Baylor win 2 championships in a row, man, can you imagine the how that shifts the landscape? That's gonna be crazy,
man. It'll be the parade that we had was unbelievable. It makes you just we got to do this again.
Yeah.
At some point we have to do this again. The parade was just unbelievable.
Yeah, because here's the thing, man. So my best friend is from Waco, And I understand Waco culture. Like, so if y'all, most people think Waco, they think of David Koresh and that little compound situation and all that.
And it was
Um,
that wasn't even in Waco. That's what's crazy.
yeah, it was outside of Waco, but everybody associated
Yeah,
the next largest city. Absolutely.
yeah,
So I've been around Waco since about 17, 18 years old. And I understand how Waco, you got your, parts of like La Vega, you got your parts Midway area, and then you got your East Waco, where like Waco High is. It's a crazy dichotomy of a small town, but a lot of diversity amongst the small town.
yeah.
And but no matter where you at, everybody loves Baylor and Waco because there's nothing else to love. Like it's like Waco and
Yes.
like Bucky's.
Yeah, Bucky's. My kids love Bucky's, boy. Golly, we can't pass Bucky's up. Driving to
telling you,
Houston, we cannot pass Bucky's up.
telling you, it's popping out there. Like so, Waco is just a small town, so y'all are like the show. And as we know, girls basketball has been the most prominent thing. If we talk in the last 10 years scope, and it's just good to see you guys put all that work in and get to where you are. Um, Now, and somebody asked about has the football team won anything? I don't remember them winning anything, but they, the RG3 time where
Yeah, he was a
Baylor was
Heisman Trophy winner. Actually,
absolutely Heisman is.
football
Go
team
ahead.
won. Football team won a couple Big 12 championships, so they have.
Yeah,
Um, I don't. Heisman Trophy. Anytime you can win a conference championship and have a Heisman Trophy winner, I mean that's success. So, not a lot
absolutely.
of Heisman Trophy winners in the world. So that
Facts.
is success.
That's facts. There's literally like 100 of them. You know what I mean? Of
Yes.
thousands of guys who play. Yeah, that's facts. Okay, so Studio Biles has a question, man. So, do y'all recruit out in Cali, man?
Yeah, we actually we have James Akinjo from Oakland, California that transferred to us. He'll play this year for us. He's from Oakland. He played at Georgetown and he played at Arizona. He was first team All Pac-12 last year at Arizona, and so he'll play for us this year. He's a guard, James Akinjo from Oakland.
There you go, Cali Connect. So Lord Chaos 777 says, Coach, has your perspective changed after becoming a coach? What changed for you? So from being a player to a coach, like I guess how's your perspective changed?
Oh, tremendously. As a
All
player,
right.
you're more selfish. I mean, it is what it is. Like as a player, you all you have to do is worry about yourself. But
Thanks.
as a coach, you have to worry about everyone. And so, I've been blessed. I've been a team captain of every program that I've been a part of. And, I feel like God put me in those positions to prepare me to be a coach. And
Mhm.
some things that I allowed when I was the team captain, I won't allow now that I'm a coach because I've seen that it didn't work. And so my life has definitely changed. I remember when I went to Idaho State, man, we had, six African American players and we had six white players. And so when we travel, six African Americans would be in one van, six whites would be in another van. When we went to eat, six African Americans and at one table, six white players at another table. And
Damn.
you know, obviously there's no way you can win a championship like that. And so, looking back, I wish I could go back and change, but I feel like God put me in a situation to where now if I see something like I won't allow it. Even in JUCO, I remember my JUCO teammates, we all stayed in apartments. And one time we wrote our apartment numbers on our shoes, like, we rep at this apartment. And I remember our head coach at the time, Juicy Cotton, sent us back to the locker room and said, "You better erase that off your shoes." And I didn't understand at the time, but clicks can divide a team. And so we
Absolutely.
ended up clicking up.
Absolutely.
And we had that was the most successful year I've been a part of, and we was a real brotherhood. But something like that, he stopped us from doing. So if I see some clicks happening, then I know how to stop them from happening. So my life has changed because I'm able to use the experiences that I've been through to keep the team as one.
No, it makes sense, man. Because and what that does, guys, is called dissension. So when you cause dissension, it's very hard to be moving together as a whole. When you got different factions with different ideologies, with different goals, with different expectations, because you're just not on the same plane, and it's very hard to be cohesive. Especially talking about winning a national championship, like which is the hardest thing to do in the college realm. Like let's just be
Facts.
honest.
Facts.
Let's just be honest here. All right, so, so I got a great question right now, man, and actually both are two with college to sports questions, man. So, Coach, let them know what you feel. So, CMI says, why are NCAA conference championships important, but NFL division titles are not?
Um, I honestly don't know. I mean, I think maybe you have more. I don't know. I mean, I guess the higher the level, the more it's not important. But I mean, I know NBA, a lot of NBA teams, I mean, they celebrate division championships. So, I mean, I think the fans is probably don't make it that important. But
That's fair.
I bet
That's
if you
fair.
ask an NFL player, I'm sure he'll be excited about his division championship. But Um, I think conference championships are really, really hard, and division championships, any championship is really hard. And so I think the individual, they create the value of that championship. And, for college, I think we put a lot of stock into conference championships. And I don't know, I don't follow the NFL enough to be able to get a true answer on that one.
But that's fair because literally the buy-in is the fans. So the fans dictate the gravity of the accomplishment at the end of the day. Because as you know, in the foxhole, we got our own expectations out of a given year, and we set the standards of what we are. Of course, we want the highest level, but we understand the benchmarks along the way. So yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think that was a good answer. I didn't know how you was gonna answer, to be frank with you, because it's a good question, but it's a hard question at the same time.
yeah, I couldn't tell you who the division champions are. I have no idea.
That's fact. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I see some people win NFC champs, NFC East championship shirts. I'm just like, man, take that shit out. So
Man, it's hard to do though. It's hard to do. That means that
but we the Cowboys
it's
though.
it the brand, yeah, but like
Yeah,
you still got to win, man. Like it's hard to
agreed.
win one game. People understand how hard it is to win just one game.
Agreed.
Let alone if you won a division, that means that you won way more than you lost. But I think expectations are just different. Like think about the dunk contest, man. Dudes could do some. They could do a 360 windmill, and we'll say, "Oh, we seen that before." You know how hard that
That's facts.
is. But you'll judge it based off of Vince Carter old dunk. Like you can't do that. Like
That's facts.
you got to judge it off the moment. Like I think social media has changed our perception because we've seen a lot of stuff that we probably wouldn't normally see.
That's facts. I've won two dunk contests in my life, and what I've noticed by the time I got to this is like high school era for me. And when I got to college, I was petitioning real hard to Coach Rim to put me in the high school. I'm sorry, the college dunk contest for the seniors and stuff like that. Because I had bounce, I had like serious bounce, but
Yeah,
I didn't have that dexterity to do all this crazy stuff. And you're right, like the stuff I could do, I could put my arm in the rim. But at the end of the day, people saw Vince Carter do that 7 years before me. So it's just like,
yeah. That's all. Like, but think how hard that is, bro.
yeah, it's hard and it hurt until you learn how to do it right.
Yeah, like that, but people think that, it's just easy. Like, it ain't
It's
easy at
not
all.
easy. And it hurt. Like I used to put a armband. Like when I knew I was gonna do it, I would put an armband right here because I knew it would absorb the blow. But then when I started to learn, it's a way you gotta lean and you gotta get enough air and you gotta cuff it. I mean, it's trial and error like anything in this world. So
Yeah,
nah, it's you absolutely right, AB, with that, man. All right, man. Super
I
chat in
know.
the building. My boy Sir Tice, man. Shout out to Black Manosphere showing love. salute HJ and Coach Brooks. In my opinion, I don't think that guys rise up through the ranks, high school, AAU, D2, want to get exposed because they can't play, because they can't play off the ball. Do you think that's a part of the development, like off ball playing?
We actually focus on that at Baylor. I can't speak for every program,
Go ahead,
but
cook, AB. Go on, cook. I'm gonna put you in solo mode.
yeah, we actually call it 95%. So if you look at basketball, you'll have the ball in your hands 5% of the time, and if you're a point guard,
Facts.
maybe 7 to 8% of the time. So if you had a ball in your hands only that amount of time, and you don't have the ball in your hands 95% of the time, what are you doing to help us win? So we have a chart of a lot of different things, and it changes year by year on what we feel is important. And we keep track of it, and we give a score to every guy after the game, and they know their goal is to make sure that they 95% is high because they got to help us win because they're not going to have the ball in their hand a lot. So I can't speak for everybody, but here at Baylor, we understand that if they go play for the Lakers, LeBron gonna have the ball. They not. So how can they stay a part of the team by doing all the other things that's gonna help them win?
Boy, AB, you hit that nail on the head. That's why I question the Russell Westbrook situation, because I have not seen a lot of
He'll adjust. He gotta
huh?
adjust. You know what I mean? He gotta adjust.
He has to, and he's gonna be relegated to a catch and shoot guy. And Russell Westbrook, in my opinion, coach, don't talk yourself in the corner if you don't want to. I will. I ain't seen none of that out of his whole career because he's been a shooting guard masquerading as a point guard his whole career, in my opinion.
He's. I mean, but anytime man, you got that many triple doubles in a row. I mean, you got to be able to adjust. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see. You know, I think all of them gonna have to adjust to one another. And so it'll be interesting to see how they do together.
No, that's real, man. That's real, man. And shout out to Sir Tice, man, showing love on the super chat, man. Guys, hey, y'all ask these questions. If y'all want y'all question prioritized, again, this is a capitalist society that I live in this YouTube space, man. So if y'all super chat, you definitely will get your question answered first. Because this is not a normal interview. This is a guy who works for Scott. God damn it, I forgot
Drew.
your I almost said
Scott
Scott Brooks.
Drew.
I'm like, it's not Scott Brooks.
Yeah,
Scott Drew.
he's in the back. He's in the background screaming right now. I had to close my door.
That's hilarious. I love it. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. Get y'all stuff in order. So no, but I mean, this is a guy who's taking time out of his time from a national championship perspective, and it's easy to not necessarily understand the gravity. And so I want to ask questions that are relevant to the conversation. So I mean, you put the super chat up, man. You're gonna get priority. But anywho, all right, let's see. Lord Chaos 777 says, how do you think the competition in the Big 12 has grown over the years in terms of basketball? I think it's a good question,
Um, I I don't think it's grown. I think it's still elite. To be honest, I've been in the league going into my 10th year in the Big 12. I was at Kansas State for 4 years, and then now going to my 6th year at Baylor, and the conference has been number one or number two rated conference according to Ken Palm every year that I've been in the league. So I don't think that it's grown. I just think it's Hall of Fame coaches in this league. A lot of professional players come through this league, and we play everybody twice. And
That's
so I
real.
think that's what separates this conference from everybody else. Like some conferences, you only play once, but here we play everybody twice. So everybody know each other play calls. Everybody know how each other play. Now it's gonna come down to players executing.
That's real. As we all know, like when inside the game, man, when you get film on somebody, that's when the whole thing changes, man. When they know your play calls. And I ran it back to Baylor. When we played Baylor my senior year, I remember we called the play and this is
Y'all
hilarious.
probably
It's a
look at
true
that.
story.
Y'all probably look at them like they know it.
Yeah, my boy, shout out to my boy Chris Gaines, my teammate. He's like, hey, bro, ain't you supposed to be over there? He's like, oh, And I'm a cuz. He's like, shit, appreciate that, my nigga.
Yeah, I tell our players all the time, hey, they gonna know our plays, we gonna know they plays. Now it's about execution. Like who can
Absolutely.
execute? It's like practice. Like you
Yeah.
can't hide plays. It's like
People start
practice.
cheating the play, so what are you gonna do when they know your move?
Yeah,
That's great. That's a great
yeah.
analogy. That's great now. Shout out, man. Sir Tight showing love, man. And you know, and I don't know if you know about this, AB, but it's a thing called a Black Manosphere, man. A lot of brothers go and they talk about manly ideas, about what we should do as brothers to move forward and what have you. And I met Sir Tice through another channel called Lil Big Nate. And so me and him gonna do some stuff in the future. So I know him through that space, and he coming here and showing love with the super chat. And so I really
That's
appreciate
so
that,
dope.
brother. So he says that, Coach, what off the court qualities do you seek and desire in recruits? I.e., coachability, seeing potential, background, etc. That's a great question for those who are coaches out there, knowing what this level of coach is looking for.
I mean, first of all, is character is the biggest thing because the first
Boom.
thing that could get us fired is something that they do off the court. And so, how they carry themselves off the court, what their habits are off the court, that's a big deal because again, like obviously we have to win games, but even if you're winning games and they doing things wrong off the court, you still get fired. And I love
That's
my family to death, so
that's facts.
um, that's first. Basketball wise, is it depends on the position. Like if they're a point guard, obviously you want to see if they could dribble right and if they could dribble left. I mean, it sounds elementary, but a lot of players can make the same move or make the same pass going right and going left. So you want to look at all the different skills that they have. Attitude wise, we chart body language. We're a little different. We chart body language. So we look at your body
Mm,
language, how you
mm,
interact with your team,
mm.
how you interact with the coaches when they take you out the game. And we want to see you in different lights. We want to see you lose a game. Like how you
Mm,
act when you lose, not just when you
mm.
win. Everybody good when they win. How you play on the road compared to home. Like I mean, we're really attention to detail here, and so coachability is huge because if you can't be coached by them, we not special enough to where you're gonna change. And so, and if we can't coach you, we can't win. And
Mm-hmm.
we got to have people that's gonna listen. And obviously, potential is a big thing. Like we want to make sure that we can help them get better and they're not tapped out. But the biggest thing is gym rats. We've had a lot of success at Baylor is because majority of our guys live in the gym. Like Davion Mitchell was just a lottery pick. He was the number 9 pick in the draft. And he was one of the few guys that at 11:50 at night, he wasn't at a party. He was in the gym working on his game with a graduate assistant. And so we look for all of those things. We tell guys all the time, if you're looking for a place to go out and party, like please do not come here. Like we don't want you. I don't care how
You're
good
not
you are.
gonna get in Waco.
Yeah, we don't want you. We don't want you. Go to a big city. Go somewhere else because Coach Tang told me something that I'll take with me for the rest of my coaching career. He said,
That's the thing.
if we get the wrong, if a really good player goes and plays somewhere else in the Big 12, they could beat us 2 times. That's it. That's the only opportunity they had to beat us. But if we get the wrong player, they'll beat us every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to make sure that we have the right person first, and then make sure obviously they capable enough to be a great student and do what they're supposed to do. They don't have to make straight A's, but at least go to class and treat people right. And then obviously on the court, make sure that they're able to be a Big 12 player.
Hey, that see, hey, where else you getting this content at, man? With a coach perspective, and I love because I mean, on these streams sometimes y'all be asking some dumb questions, but yeah, y'all asking some great questions. Don't be wasting this man's time. This man is the Big 12 coach, national champion. So y'all are doing y'all are embarrassing me. That's what I'm trying to say. So thank y'all, chat, for doing y'all thing. And another coach, I mean,
Hey, I'm telling you, man, super chats, you get priority. I know y'all asking questions, but super chat, hey, I got you. My boy Christian G says, Coach, how do you instill character into your players? I asked this because I have a lot of different backgrounds, and most times basketball is a safe place. So how do you take it from a safe place to a character building place, Coach?
We eat one-on-one with our guys a lot, and so we go eat either breakfast, lunch, or dinner with them at our house, and we don't talk to them about basketball. We just talk to them about real life situations and ask them, about themselves and what they're going through. And we also, Coach Drew does a great job. We have sessions what we call real talk, and so we'll bring them in as a team, and we'll just talk to them about something that's real in life, like whether one time it may be financial, the next time it may be about how to treat women, the next time it may be about just different topics. We have whatever that comes up, and like an article or something, then we'll just talk to them about it. And then one thing that we're blessed to do that a lot of universities is not blessed to do is we have chapels. We have two pastors that helps us, and then on the road, as assistant coaches, we actually rotate on who does the chapels before the games. And so that's something different here that we could do that a lot of schools can't do. And so that's kind of a lot of different ways that we help build the character in our young men.
Man, and that's awesome because when I used to be a teacher, man, my biggest thing was these kids, being a coach. I mean, this is middle school, so let me rein it back.
And one thing, before my bad, I don't mean to cut you off, but one
Nah, you
thing
got
also I
it.
thought about, we have a mental health professional named Dr. Monique, and so she actually meets with our guys one on one, and so that's a big advantage for us because mental health is a big deal that everyone is open to talk about now, and so she's great at what she does. Obviously she's a doctor, so she's professional, and everything they talk about is confidential. So that's another way to help with their character because they're able to release whatever they have going on to her, and she's able to teach them how to handle it professionally.
No, I think that's important. And I want to give a credit to brother no longer with us, brother Williams. He was like a pastor who was like our little crisis managed liaison, as it were, for our team. I was at Prairie View, and he used to because we had some intervention moments we needed with like guys kind of going that separate, going left, as it were. And he used to step in and ask us character building questions and to just kind of like moderate our temperaments. So I think that's very, very useful for men who a year or two are going to go out and be somebody's father, going to go out and be somebody's, who they depend on. So it's very important you put things in perspective, irregardless from just what you mean to basketball, because you got to be a basketball player to life past your collegiate experience. And I think that's very important that y'all incorporate that because I've experienced, I had the pleasure to experience that as well. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very important area for young, especially minority men to understand that like you have to still be on point the rest of your life, not just here at Baylor, not just here at wherever. You
Yes.
got to be the ilk. I'm sorry, the top level of leading someone past this point. I think that's a
Uh,
very important thing.
and that's the thing. Like we try to tell our guys, you if you average in anything, then that's tough. You're gonna have a hard life. So try to be elite at something that you do. And if you're elite at something, then the financial part will come. But in order to be elite, that's something you have to do every single day, and you got to be better at it than you got to be 1% in the world at it. Like you got to figure it out. And so it may some guys it may not be basketball. So if it's not basketball, what gift that you have that you become elite at. And so we actually do personality assessments here to
Nice.
kind of learn, who they are. and we talk to them about who they are. They know who their teammates are, and it's up to them to take advantage of that. And
See,
Dr. Eric Thomas is the one to help us with that. ET, the motivational speaker. So if they don't take advantage of that now, I don't know, bro.
I can't do it for you, man.
I know, like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but
Can't
man,
make
you
him
can't
drink.
make them drink.
Well, I love that because that basically gives brothers a reinforced sense of critical thinking. And I think critical thinking is a big aspect for us going out and being leaders later when basketball is not what you lead with. And like you're saying, you got to be elite at something. So when about 25, when I stopped playing ball overseas, I had a conundrum. Like, what do I do now? Like, I still could hoop, but I was a year removed. I thought I was going to get married. We didn't get married. So I'm like, okay, I'm 25, 6'7", 230 pounds. What do I offer the world now? I'm a year removed from Europe, and I just can't go back over there unless somebody, and I tried, didn't really have offers like that. All right, so then I became a teacher. Well, a substitute teacher, and then a teacher. So basically, up the hierarchy system, I went from making 17 grand a year to 44 to 53. And then when I left that and went to sales, making six figures and up. It's really a process, man, because you really have to assess who you are. What am I good at? And I think that's so important, you giving the personality assessments, because it took me a long way to understand that, okay, I'm good at talking. I'm good at relationship building. Let me use that in sales. And that's where I've been the last 7 years. And y'all are fast tracking, brothers. And I think that's priceless, man. That's priceless.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir, man. Lord Chaos says, how was your mental preparation like during a championship run, and how did you stay consistent? Man, y'all asking these fire questions, man. AB, take it over.
Man, our mental preparation, obviously, we have a cheat sheet. We have Dr. Monique. So I told you, Dr. Monique, she met with Coach Drew, and, she had a lot of different ideas for us because, you got to remember, we were in a bubble. Like, we were not allowed to see anyone for a month. Like, we were in a hotel room for a month. And so they couldn't see their parents. I couldn't see my wife and my kids. We were not allowed to touch or get close to anyone outside of the however many numbers that we had that was in the bubble. So we actually had games. Luckily and blessed, we were number one seed. So our ballroom was like a huge ballroom. So we bought a basketball goal. We had cornhole. We had karaoke night.
Okay.
Coach Drew called Dabo Sweeney from Clemson, and because they do the same thing because of college football. So we asked him for some ideas, and so we had some ideas, and obviously we tried to have different times where we had one night where we just had like a real talk, and guys opened up and talk about different things, like what's your fear in life, what's what just conversations, and everybody was really open, and I thought that brought us together more as a team. And obviously the basketball time is practice and all of that, but other than sticking together, I think mentally that was a big thing. And I think staying consistent is, like I said, we always preached we want to have the same boring habits. So every single day, like, we watch film, we practice. And in practice, we weren't going to practice long, but we were going to do everything in the right way. And we watched film on it. And when we didn't do it right, we watched film and we figured out a way to correct it. And so we always want to be consistent. As far as consistent to us is doing the same thing at a high level every single possession, not day, but every single possession. And so that's the reason why we stayed consistent. We never got caught up in what everybody was saying outside. Everybody was talking about this team or that team, even us at times. And our goal was to make sure that we we are great at what we do every single possession.
Man, I love that because you're basically telling young men how to be consistent. And I tell my girl all this, my girl this all the time. Like, I'm with you because every day I know what I'm gonna get out of you. It's the same thing. It's consistency. I'm not, because at one point in my life I was looking for a thrill seeker girl. You know how it go, AB. You're a married
Yeah,
man, but you know how it
yeah,
is in these streets. And I learned that you don't seek out that type of a partner because you don't know what the next day gonna bring. And that goes with anything cohesive. You know what the next day is, and the next day gonna look just like that day, and the next day, and the next day. Yeah, you may have something go left, but you know what I'm saying, consistently you have a routine. And one thing I loved about playing for Coach Casper at SFA is expectation was you be at practice 45 minutes above practice. And there's no excuses. And me coming out of high school, I
yeah,
wasn't ready for that. I was like, what?
yeah,
45 minutes before? So,
yeah,
but what it taught me was when I left that program, I went to JUCO. You know, it's funny, AB, I'm a relatively talented / lazy guy in a lot of respects, but you know, I still get my thing on. I started telling my coach what he need to do better. And I coming from a dude who was a big lazy dude, but when you instill a routine, when you instill a standard, generally
yeah,
people meet it. And
yeah,
that's great that you guys preach that because a lot of people they kind of gloss over that point. But that's a manly skill that you teach your offspring, you teach to your spouse. Like, yo, we're gonna move on this accord, and this is what the standard is, and that's how you succeed going forward. So I think that's a very valuable lesson you guys are instilling on this level because as you know, especially when talent is in the mix, you let a lot of things go. And in the mix, you may succeed, but further in life, you're teaching bad habits to young men.
facts, facts. I agree.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna wrap it. And I'm gonna ask a question. Ghost 007 asked a good question, but I did want to talk about the amount of players y'all got in this NBA sector. Let's not gloss over. We talked about Davion, man. And so, what's your opinion so far about him being, you know, winning the Summer League championship, being the co-MVP, the 9th overall pick? I want you to touch on that just a little bit before we go forward.
Man, I mean, the kid's a winner. I mean, he won a Peach Jam championship, a state championship, SEC championship, Big 12 championship, national championship, and now Summer League championship. I mean, at some point, that you have to have something to do with that. And so, you know, I'm extremely proud of him. I'm proud of all. We had actually 6 guys in the NBA Summer League. And so I'm extremely proud of all of them for having the opportunity to, you know, live out a dream. It's only, you know, 1% of the world that get a chance to play in the NBA. So to
Absolutely.
know 6 guys from Baylor is having that opportunity at one time, that's not even including the ones that didn't have to play summer league. Um, we definitely understand how blessed we are as a program, and we want to make sure that we continue to help the current guys that we have to have the same success and have the same opportunity that the guys have now.
Yeah, and that's nuts, man. Because even previous dominating talent of you know what I mean programs, and when I can think of off rip, team I played my senior year was Florida when they had Joakim Noah, Brewer, Richards, Spates, Horford, and Torian Green. 5 NBA guys on that team. They were 2-time national champions, and only 5 of them went to NBA.
Crazy.
That's reality. Like, so y'all got 6, and now on my count, I got Davion, I got Maceo Teague, Ishmael Wainwright, Mark Vital, and Jared Butler. Who am I missing?
Freddie Gillespie.
Freddie Gillespie. Okay,
Yeah, with the Toronto Raptors. So that
that's
was the 6.
that's.
Crazy, man.
And listen, guys, Baylor don't traditionally put guys in the league like that.
It's crazy. We definitely, you know, all of those kids, man, work extremely hard. They got great parents, great family, great inner circle, and they great people. And so you know, that's the biggest thing I'm proud of is not only that they great players, but more importantly, they great people. Like, you
There
know,
you
I
go.
tell the NBA scouts that called us leading up to the draft, for 2 years, I could keep my phone on vibrate because I knew I wasn't get a call from campus police or anything, you know.
That's
And
what's up.
anytime that you could have people like that, you know, you coach college, you play college basketball, you know, you anything can happen, man. And you know, to have kids that you could depend on like that off the court, man, is definitely special.
That's one of these motions. Like, whew, I ain't
Facts,
got to worry about no midnight call and some effery going on. So you know what it is.
facts,
You know
absolutely
what it
facts.
is. So I did coach 3 years as a grad assistant at Prairie View. So even at that level, we had some guys we had to make sure. And I was a
Oh
younger coach.
yeah.
I had to keep them like just in constant contact to make sure that everything was everything, man. So yeah. So last question, AB, man, before you peace out, man, I want to respect your time. I know it's valuable. Ghost says, question, brother Alvin Brooks. What's your opinion on Virginia's pack line defense, and how would you exploit the weakness in the college game? You know, I love this nerdy basketball questions, man. How would you attack that from an X and O
Um,
standpoint?
I think, you know, obviously Virginia's defense is one of the best defenses um, in college basketball year in and year out. When we decided we want to take our program from good to great 2 years ago, Coach Drew words was let's take it from good to great. Virginia and Texas Tech were the two defenses that we studied. And so actually having a chance to study Virginia's defense, I mean, obviously they hold people to a very, very low point scoring. And, you know, it's a defense that forces middle. And so
Mm-hmm.
obviously if you could figure out a way to get baseline, um,
Mm-hmm.
that would hurt them. And also, you know, obviously if you have some guys that can make deep threes, that would hurt them. And it
Mm-hmm.
sounds easy, but
Yeah.
obviously it's not easy with them being one of the best defenses year in and year out. So, I mean, obviously you need players to be able to hurt them. And, you know, if you could figure out a way to get easy transition baskets, but, you know, they're not going to make many mistakes to give you a chance to do that. So, I don't know, you know, I can't tell you how to really exploit it because I really hadn't had a chance to like study it like that. And, but, you know, just from studying it, you know, 2 years ago, I do know kind of the main principles, and they do a great job of closing out with a high hand every single time. So, you know, if you close to that 3 point line, then get ready to dribble and pass because they're not letting you shoot that ball.
Man, and those are the general principles, man. Shout out to my boy Jethro Hillman, man, who coached under Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. Man, closing out hands high. That is what that's basketball Bible, as it
Yeah,
were. And when you accentuate that, it makes it very hard for you to do in this level, which I'm gonna say this era, which is the long distance shot. But if you get a hand up and you get out there and close out hard, you're gonna make those looks look less attractive. And I'm sure you can attest to this. It's hard to get a lot of guys to buy into that because it
yes, it is.
requires extra work from all positions. Because now everybody can shoot the three ball. You gotta get bigs, get your big butt out there and close out, hands high and box out. And
Yes,
that's man. We've had days, and I give Coach Rim a lot of credit. We put a bubble in Talvin on top of the rim, and it was a drill where there was no chance of no scoring to happen because it's a bubble on top of that thing. And you learn trajectory off of a missed three. And you learn that the whole goal was to get the most rebounds off of a missed 3 point shot and to close out properly. And it was the whole practice over that. And a lot of people who don't play sports like that don't understand the whole practice can be like that, which is quote unquote boring. It's not fun, it's not eventful, but it teaches you things that's muscle reflex when it's time to go out there and play at the highest level, man. So I do respect the pack line strategy, and those kind of things do present the whole body of work, which is asserting how can I put it, a dominant strategy that a program can have from area to area, or like a Bayheim, which is big on the zone defense. Having long guys who disrupt. You got to learn how to score in that situation. So that's the beauty of college basketball to me.
Yes, it is. More than one way to win. My dad tell me that all the time. More than one way to win.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So all right, so AB, man, we've been on here for an hour, man. I told you it'd be an hour. Before you peace out, man, I always like to have everybody speak their piece before they depart, man. Anything you gotta say before you leave this good chat, man.
Man, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this and, speaking about consistency for you to continue to do this. I mean, that's a major thing. And man, I just want to, thank everyone for watching and taking time out um, to watch Hoop Jargon, and especially with me being on there. I don't take it for granted. And biggest thing, man, just be good people. I mean, we in a world right now where, it's a lot going on with the pandemic. You got the social unrest. You got, a lot of different things. A lot of people are hurting financially. Just figure out a way to be a light to somebody else and help someone else. And I feel like the more you give, the more you get. And even if you don't get from giving, give, because at the end of the day, um, God give us gifts to be able to give. And so give everything you can to make this world a better place. There's a lot going on, a lot of people that's not doing the right things or treating people the right way. And so my goal every day as a black man is to make sure that I do something to make somebody look at a black man differently. And so hopefully, whatever race that you are, whether you're a female or you're male, figure out a way to make somebody day just by just I mean, just you don't gotta buy them something. Just even speaking to somebody and smiling to them, just something little. Just I try to speak to as many people as I can, even if they don't speak back. I got neighbors that don't speak back, but it don't matter. Like I still speak to them, and so don't allow. Damon West say be a coffee bean, and so be a coffee bean. And what he mean by that is he talked to our team is, when when you put an egg in water, the egg get hard. When you put a carrot in water, the carrot gets soft. Where you put a coffee bean in water, the coffee bean changes the water. So be a
Hmm,
coffee bean and change
hmm,
your environment,
hmm.
and don't let the environment change you. And so be a good person. That would be the main thing I say. Be a coffee bean and be a good person.
God damn, AB, I wouldn't expect you to drop some prophecy like that. That's awesome, man. Be a coffee bean. Whew. Hey, another wrinkle
Yeah,
in the brain.
coffee bean. Coffee bean
I like
changes
that.
the environment.
I like that because some I do, and not to brag on myself, but living in California, you see a lot of brothers outside of Target, and they like selling candies, and these brothers, I'm talking about specifically, and some of them be doing some wild shit around the store where I work, and what I tell them brothers is, listen, man, when you come around where I work, don't you come in doing no crazy stuff, man. You keep your stuff in order. And here's 20. I don't want your candy. I don't need candy. I don't need
Yes.
coupons to Sonic and all that stuff. I don't eat fast food like that. I want you to have this. But when you amongst other people, you get your mind right. You don't come there doing no crazy stuff, man. And
Yes.
one of them who was like looking at me crazy before I gave him the 20, he was like, man, sir, man, Happy New Year. Like this is obviously, around January, early January. But I told him, like, I don't want your candy. I don't need candy. Like, you get older, candy ain't your friend no more. So, I think it's
Yeah.
important to you put that goodwill into young men, especially in our race, because it helps us get better. So, thank you, AB. I know you about to go do business. And everybody in the chat, thank y'all so much. Y'all make this thing run.
Let
And
me see
till
if
next time, we
Let
out.
me see if Coach Drew can say what's up to Hoop Jordan
Okay,
real
yeah,
quick.
man, bring Coach Drew in. See, man, we giving y'all some bonus time, man. Hold up. Appreciate JB.
Can you say real quick?
Hey, how we doing? You got
What's
good
going on,
night?
Coach Drew?
He said it was going on. Okay, yeah, I forgot I got my
Oh
earbuds
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You mute me.
How you doing, sir?
Go put them back on real quick.
Hold on, let me
Coach
take
Drew
my
back on
earpods out real quick.
Ah, okay.
I forgot I was on earpods.
Ah. It's all good. I remember being on the girls' side. When Toyell took me over there. Uh-oh. He froze up. We're going to stay till he come back. There we go.
Hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Ah, what's up? You guys doing okay?
Yes, sir. Coach Drew, good to see you, sir.
Man, good to see you.
Thank you, man. I had a whole interview with your assistant talking about how your program has been going and how you guys instill morals, you guys building up young men. And so I just want to salute you for what you've been doing, man.
Well, I can tell you that we're blessed to work here, and, iron sharpens iron. So all of us coaches have an opportunity to grow each and every day because of each other. And Reverend Brooks here is the best. So if you ever hear one of his chapel services, you'll be impressed. All right.
Absolutely, Coach Drew. Appreciate you, my man.
Hey, appreciate you. Thank you very much for the kind words.
Yes, sir. AB give you the bonus, man. It's the plug right here.
Yeah,
man.
I got y'all a bonus, man. I got y'all a bonus.
I appreciate that, AB. I appreciate that, man.
No problem.
Absolutely, brother. So, hey, this is how we doing the hoop jargon, man. You see, I'm giving you these jewels. That's a world championship coach right there, and a world champion assistant. See, you ain't have to pay to see this. That's what we doing over here, man.
Facts. Well,
I appreciate that. Well,
like
AB, man, you more than delivered of what you agreed to do, and I salute what you do. And of course, I'm gonna bring you back on the show once again. You know that. And I just want to thank you for being a part of what we're doing over here, man.
Man, I appreciate it, bro. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Absolutely. Well, all right, y'all. Till next time, we out. I'm gonna let Kendrick Perkins, my boy,
I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.